How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis and we've got the raid improvements update from the Old School RuneScape team. So let's start this off by having a look at storage units. There are now specific rooms in raids which allow building of storage chests. These storage chests allow members of the party to put their items in and share them with each other. To build a storage chest you need malignant planks which are dropped from the creatures within the raid. To create a small chest which stores 250 items you need level 30 construction. A medium chest stores 500 items and requires level 60 construction. And a large chest can put in a whopping 1000 items and requires level 90 construction. And to make managing your storage chest a little bit easier, you can upgrade your small and medium chest to the higher tier if you like. When you build a chest, the person who builds it actually gets 100 points, and the players that get the planks to do it will get themselves 10 points. And what's noteworthy here is that Iron Men are able to deposit items into storage chests, however they aren't able to withdraw items. This means that in true Iron Man style, they'll be able to help their teams, but they won't be able to be helped by their team. Next, the Preserved Prayer Scroll. They've taken the Preserved Prayer off the old prayer scroll and put it onto its own brand new one that it doesn't have to share with any other prayers. This has shocked me a little bit. There's been no indication from any developer Q&As that I've seen so far, or any developer blogs or news posts that they were going to do this. It doesn't really seem like a big deal, but it is a little bit strange. I figured that when you complete a raid and you get a prayer unlock scroll, then that means you can get yourself Rigor, Augury or Preserve, whereas now you have to get it as a separate item, which doesn't necessarily feel as natural. But then again, I suppose you could say that Rigor and Augury are a type of prayer and Preserve is a different type of prayer, so separation is key. Next, the Chambers of Xeric teleport. It's now possible to unlock a Chambers of Xeric teleport using an ancient tablet on your Xeric's talisman. This will help you get back to the Chambers of Xeric to get into those raiding parties a lot quicker and a lot easier. The ancient tablets are a fairly common untradeable reward from raids, and when they are used on the Xeric's talisman, the teleport is unlocked permanently for you. However, seeing as it is so common, after you've unlocked the teleport, you'll no longer receive the ancient tablets as a reward from raids. This is quite nice. Obviously getting a teleport to the raids area will be immensely useful if you're someone that's doing a lot of raids. Although I must admit, having it as a common untradeable reward seems a bit strange. I feel that potentially it could have been a lot better if they have it as a recharge on your Xeric's talisman, as opposed to a permanent unlock. This would mean that if they had the ancient tablet item as a reward from raids, as a tradable item, then people could actually benefit from it, as opposed to what they've done here. Next, the second farming patch. They've added a second herb patch in the skilling room within raids. This should make the process of getting a large number of herbs a lot easier. And the last raid change we've got today is Kodai Insignia and Wand changes. Previously the Kodai Wand was being dropped as a reward from raids, however that wasn't what was actually polled. Players can now receive the Kodai Insignia as a reward from raids. This can be combined with a Master Wand to create the Kodai Wand. Now I believe that if you already had the Kodai Wand, you will keep that Kodai Wand to save you the hassle of having to get a Master Wand just to use the item you already had. But from now on, players that get the Kodai reward from raids will get the Kodai Insignia instead of the Kodai Wand. Moving on to some non-raid related changes. We're going to have a look at Smite. Before this update, if your prayer was drained to 0 by Smite at the same time that you died, your prayers would remain active and protect item would still take effect. Essentially meaning that if a player smited your prayer down to 0 and you had that protect item prayer active, you could keep your item despite the fact you had 0 prayer points. This is no longer the case, and your prayers will now deactivate the moment your prayer points are smited down to 0. This should mean PvP will be a lot more risky and profitable if you can get the kills in. I'm a little bit disappointed with the Old School RuneScape team on this, to be honest. I've seen absolutely no discussion with the Old School RuneScape community for this change. I know a lot of people have discussed it and I'm sure it would definitely pass a poll. However, I'm not a fan of them just sneaking it into the game like this. Next, the Boss and Slayer log improvements. Previously, the Boss and Slayer kill logs were essentially a scroll showing you a list of the monsters you've killed and how many times you've killed them. Now they've reworked the interface to be a lot more like modern Old School RuneScape interfaces, with a streak count, which they polled not too long ago, and counting beyond 65,535, which is the max integer value of a 16-bit number. This is very interesting because they've completely changed this interface just for these small updates. And I think the most interesting thing I would find is how far can it track. I'm assuming it'll be 2.147 billion, like with our coin stacks and, well, just item stacks in general. As well as these changes, the Chambers of Xeric are now being tracked in the boss kill log. Finally, we've got the other news this week. The Great Olm has received some balancing changes. They've altered the colours of the prayer icons for Preserve, Rigor and Augury. They've fixed the destroy option on the Christmas 2016 rewards. They fixed ear colour on the green Slayer helmet. They fixed an issue for female characters with the Max Cape and Mystic Dust Staff, which is quite an obscure combination of items. They fixed a head snapping issue when changing direction whilst wielding god swords. The Pyromancer robe bottoms no longer stretch when fishing. They made some small tweaks to the in-game messages during the fight with Olm. Cannons can no longer be placed within the swamps of Kourend. The number of lizard men around the swamps has been increased. And they fixed a typo on the Master Crafter's dialogue. This week's update seems quite nice. We've got raid improvements, which are obviously nice because it's such a huge update. And we've got a couple of things from most recent polls, such as the boss and Slayer kill log improvements. Although I kind of feel that the way that some of these updates have taken place, such as the smite changes and the fact that they completely changed the interface for the boss and Slayer kill logs, when really there was just two small things they were trying to implement into those interfaces before, makes me think that the Old School RuneScape team are now just going off and just coming up with their own updates instead of going and importantly polling them like they should. I've noticed this in recent years. Some things I think, oh, that's not too bad, it's just a small update. But if we just keep thinking, oh, that's a small update, eventually it is a big thing that happens to Old School RuneScape, and we've got to watch out for that. And of course that is essential because the polling system is such a key part of Old School RuneScape. I'm a true believer in that, and I think most players should be too. If you wish to discuss this update, please do so on the forums or in my comments below. If you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape updates, please click here for the Chambers of Xeric. And if you're interested in last year's updates, please click here for my 2016 review. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, stat logs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.